As you know, this comes after the recent news of her passing
Right.
at the very young age of 24.
Yeah. A really tragic situation.
It is. It's truly heartbreaking. And, we're going to be exploring her story and the legacy she leaves behind,
Okay.
focusing on the information you shared with us.
Yeah, it's certainly a complex and sadly now tragically shortened career. It's worth examining.
Absolutely.
Where would you like to begin?
Well, the news from NDTV reports her death in Seoul. And while police have ruled out foul play, the details surrounding her passing are still limited. I think it's important to acknowledge that up front.
Okay.
But let's shift our focus to her work, especially since you provided such specific information.
Right.
You mentioned her breakout role in the 2010 film The Man from Nowhere, where she played a kidnapped child rescued by a former Special Forces agent.
Yes.
That film was a massive success, wasn't it?
Absolutely. The Man from Nowhere was a box office hit, not just in South Korea, but internationally as well.
Wow.
It really put Kim Sae-ron on the map, especially after she won the Best New Actress award at the Korean Film Awards for her performance. That's a significant achievement, especially for someone so young.
Yeah, and that detail about the award was something you specifically highlighted in your notes. What makes those awards so important in the South Korean film landscape?
The Korean Film Awards are a huge deal. Winning one, especially a Best New Actress award, can open a lot of doors for an actor in South Korea. It's not just about recognition, it's about the industry taking notice and seeing potential. It can lead to more prominent roles, better scripts, and basically catapults an actor's career forward. So for Kim Sae-ron to win that at such a young age speaks volumes about the impact she made and the trajectory she was on.
It does sound like a remarkable start to a career. You mentioned The Man from Nowhere, put her on the map. And then this award. It paints a picture of someone poised for great things.
Precisely. And she didn't stop there. She went on to have a diverse acting career, appearing in various genres and taking on roles that showcased her range.
So it wasn't just a one-hit wonder kind of situation.
Yeah.
There's more to explore beyond that initial success.
Absolutely. And I think that's where it gets really fascinating. If we look at her filmography, we see a clear evolution as an actress.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
What kind of evolution are we talking about? What specific films should we be looking at to understand this?
Well, after The Man from Nowhere, she could have easily been typecast as the child actor or stuck in similar action thriller roles.
Right.
But she actively sought out diverse projects. For example, she starred in the historical drama The Queen's Classroom in 2013, playing a rebellious student who clashes with a strict teacher.
Okay.
This role allowed her to showcase her dramatic range and ability to carry a more complex character.
So she was making deliberate choices, moving away from what could have been an easy path to stardom based on her early success. Interesting. Was this a common trajectory for young actors in South Korea, or was she charting her own course?
It's definitely more the latter. Many child actors struggle to transition to adult roles, or they stick to a specific genre that they're known for. But Kim Sae-ron seemed determined to challenge herself and push boundaries. She wasn't afraid to take risks.
And did these risks pay off? I mean, did she find success in these diverse roles? You mentioned The Queen's Classroom. Anything else that stands out as a turning point in her career?
Yes, definitely. In 2014, she starred in the coming-of-age film A Girl at My Door, where she played a troubled teenager who forms a bond with a new police officer.
Okay.
This film was critically acclaimed both domestically and internationally, and it screened at the Cannes Film Festival. This was another step up for her, showcasing her maturity as an actress and ability to tackle complex social themes.
Wow, Cannes, that's a big stage. So we see this young actress winning awards, starring in diverse films, even getting recognition at international film festivals. It seems like she was building a really impressive career.
She absolutely was, and it's worth noting that alongside her film work, she was also active in television dramas, further demonstrating her versatility. She's becoming a familiar face on Korean screens, a rising star who seemed to have it all.
But then, as we know, there was a significant event that impacted her career. In 2022, she was involved in a drunk driving incident, which resulted in a fine and a considerable amount of public backlash.
Yes, that incident unfortunately became a defining moment in her career, overshadowing her achievements to a certain extent. It's important to remember that in South Korea, public figures are held to a very high standard of conduct, and there's a strong expectation of moral uprightness.
So the cultural context matters a great deal here.
Yeah.
An incident like this wouldn't necessarily have the same repercussions everywhere, but in South Korea, it carries a lot of weight. What were the immediate consequences for her career after the incident?
Well, she faced immediate backlash online, with many criticizing her actions and questioning her judgment. She lost several endorsement deals, and some of her upcoming projects were either canceled or put on hold. She issued a public apology, taking responsibility for her actions, but the damage was done.
And did this incident make it difficult for her to secure new roles afterward? You mentioned earlier that you included this detail about her struggling to find work after the incident. What does that tell us about the long-term impact?
It's difficult to say for certain what closed doors for her, but her career definitely slowed down after the DUI. She did eventually return to acting with a role in a streaming series in 2023, but it wasn't the kind of high-profile project she was involved with before the incident.
So even though she did return to work, things weren't quite the same. It makes you wonder about the lasting impact of such an event, not just on her career, but on her personally as well.
It's a difficult situation to navigate. On one hand, there's a need for accountability and consequences for actions. On the other hand, there is the question of forgiveness and second chances.
Right. And how much weight should a single incident carry in someone's life?
It's a complex question. It's important to acknowledge the harm caused by her actions, and it's understandable that there would be consequences.
But it also seems like she was trying to make amends to rebuild her career and to move forward.
Yes, she did express remorse and took steps to demonstrate accountability, but the incident clearly impacted her career trajectory, and sadly, we'll never know how things might have unfolded had this tragic event not occurred.
It's a truly heartbreaking situation. Looking back at her career as a whole, it's clear that Kim Sae-ron was a talented actress with a promising future. She achieved so much at such a young age, and her filmography showcases a dedication to her craft and a willingness to push boundaries.
Yeah, I completely agree. Her early success with The Man from Nowhere and the recognition she received from the Korean Film Awards demonstrated her potential. And her subsequent choices to diversify her roles, appearing in historical dramas, coming-of-age stories, and even tackling challenging social themes, highlight a conscious effort to grow as an artist.
She wasn't content with simply riding the wave of her initial success. It seems like she was actively seeking out roles that would challenge her and allow her to showcase different facets of her talent.
Exactly. She could have easily taken the easy path and stuck with what worked, but she didn't. That speaks volumes about her ambition and her commitment to her craft.
And it makes her later struggles all the more poignant. The drunk driving incident, while a serious lapse in judgment, shouldn't overshadow her accomplishments or define her entirely. It's a complex situation, and it's important to consider the cultural context and the pressure that public figures face in South Korea.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even those in the spotlight are human, capable of making mistakes. And while there should be accountability, there's also room for growth, redemption, and second chances.
Her story really underscores the complexities of fame, the weight of public perception, and the challenges of navigating a career under such intense scrutiny.
It does. And it leaves us with a lot to consider. How do we balance acknowledging the impact of someone's actions while also recognizing their potential for growth and change? How do we separate the artist from their personal struggles? These are questions that resonate far beyond the realm of entertainment.
So for you listening, what do you take away from Kim Sae-ron's story? It's a tale of early success, artistic ambition, a public misstep, and ultimately a life tragically cut short. Her talent and the marks she made on Korean cinema will undoubtedly be remembered. And while the DUI incident cast a shadow over her later career, it's essential to view her life and work in their totality.
I think that's the key takeaway. We should remember her for the range of her work, her dedication to her craft, and her willingness to challenge herself as an actress. It's a legacy worth celebrating, even as we acknowledge the complexities and the unfortunate circumstances that mark her later years.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the life and career of Kim Sae-ron. It's been a somber but important exploration, one that reminds us of the fragility of life, the weight of public image, and the importance of recognizing the full spectrum of human experience.